Ooh, welcome to Ole Walls' house. It's me. It's your man. It's your main man. It's Ole Walls, and I'm back with you. Ole Walls' house number 141 coming your way this week. We have NFL Week 2 to discuss. Another week in college football. Keeping up on those Cleveland Guardians. I caught a little bit of the Solheim Cup. And as always, my passing thoughts. So, before we get to that, you know the deal. Housekeeping. If you guys could, please rate, review, comment, subscribe, share. Let somebody know about the show. That would be greatly appreciated. So there's that. And as always, a big thank you to everybody. I appreciate the watches, the listens. So thank you. And really, that's pretty much it. So without any more further ado, Ole Walls' house, number 141. We go now. NFL Week 2, all but in the books. As I record this just before Monday Night Football. Got the Falcons and the Eagles tonight. I'm not foreseeing myself staying up for that whole game and having a report on that. I would expect the Eagles to win. If by some stretch of the imagination something weird is happening, you may get an addendum. Again, I'm not foreseeing it, so just expect that. Here's my take. The Eagles should win. They should win by more than a touchdown. I would take them to cover. If they don't, questions abound maybe. Maybe the Falcons have a bounce-back game. There is the saying, week one is a liar. Week one is a liar is the saying. So let's just dive into this week. Week two. The Green Bay Packers, they're on the board. A win is a win in a 16-10 win over the Indianapolis Colts. Malik Willis at the helm for the Packers. Malik Willis does what he needs to do. 12 of 14, very efficient, 122 yards, didn't go downfield much. Threw a touchdown pass. That touchdown pass could have easily gone the other way for 6, but alas, it did not. The story of the week was they got on Josh Jacobs' back. 32 carries for 151 yards. He was really just the workhorse of this team with no Jordan Love. Malik Willis was the second leading rusher, 6 carries, 41 yards. That's an over 29.5 on the player prop. Hit that one. He also had an over an 11.5 for longest single run player prop. I decided to jump on that. That may be something I continue to do going forward. Romeo Doubs leads the receivers, 3 catches, 62 yards, including one absolutely fantastic catch where he went up and over a defender and got it. Luke Musgrave made his first catch of the year. Big Cat Bill Gardner and I were talking about whatever happened to him, and sure enough, on the very next play, he caught a little check down pass. Dontavian Wicks catches the lone touchdown pass of the day, the lone touchdown of the day for the Packers. This was a game that was probably closer than it needed to be. Josh Jacobs was trucking his way into the end zone. He was maybe a foot away from the end zone, and he was stripped on the goal line. Fumble Ruski. Ball falls back in the end zone. Touchback, and instead of going up 17-0, it remains 10-0. A couple of field goals are exchanged in the third, and then the Packers give up one touchdown late in the fourth. But all in all, they hold on for the win. You win without your starting quarterback in the NFL. It's kind of a good thing. The Colts have just been getting gashed in their first 2 games on the ground. The Packers end up with a total of 261 yards on the ground. Let me double check my my little thing here. I believe it's 164 of those. Yes, 164 rushing yards in the first quarter for the Packers. Just absolutely gashing them early. But hey, a win's a win. There's no pictures on the scorecard, they say. Wins, there's no style points in the NFL. It's all record, and a win is a win. The Colts dropped to 0-2. Anthony Richardson shows moments of being really good, but just not consistent. 17 of 34. He throws 3 interceptions. So the Packers just continuing to get interceptions this year. I think that's 7 so far. Is it 7 or 5? 5. They had 7 last year. 5 already this year. Xavier McKinney with another interception. So that's 2 games, 2 interceptions for that gentleman. Evan Williams and Eric Wilson pick up the next ones. Quay Walker should have had an interception, just hit him in the hands, and then unreal. It's what led to the lone scoring drive for the Colts. Quay Walker jumps up, kind of bats one down, doesn't make the catch, and it just falls into Alec Pierce. Somehow, by the way, Alec Pierce has been just, it felt like he had more. He had 5 catches for 56 yards and 1 touchdown for the Colts. It felt like more. They must have targeted more. The Colts also decided to just drop the ball a lot. That was really helpful for the Packers. I want to know what's going on with Pittman. I picked Pittman in a couple of my fantasy leagues. He had a very nice year last year. 3 catches, 21 yards is all he had. And he didn't have much more than that last week if he had more at all. Just isn't meshing up with Richardson. And, again, early in the season, a lot can happen. This is only Richardson's, 5th start, 4th start? How many games did Anthony Richardson even play 3 games last year? Hang on, let me pull him up here. He played 4 games last year. I apologize. 4 games last year. They were 2-2. He was 50 of 84. 50 of 84 in those 2 games. He was 9 of 19 in his game last week. Oofta. Not a great completion percentage here for him. But hey, the Packers get it done. That's the main thing. It's the NFL. You just win and you're on to next week. And next week is the Tennessee Titans, who have not been impressive this year. Will Levis has not looked the part. I think his coach was ready to absolutely massacre him today, or Sunday rather, when he tried that little pitch back in a very close game that they ended up just losing to the New York Jets. Jets, Jets. While we're talking about that, Levis 19 to 28 for 192 yards and 1 TD and 1 interception. Breece Hall had himself a nice game. He had a touchdown catch, 62 yards on the ground, but another 52 through the air. So 114 total. Garrett Wilson gets 4 catches. Breece Hall 7 receptions. Rodgers may have found a little something there. Rodgers, there's not all the cobwebs are off, I don't think. I didn't see as much of this game. It wasn't really coming up on Red Zone a lot, and they played at the same time as the Packers, so I wasn't going to watch that game, individually. But there are moments where Rodgers is like, I've still got it. Like you can totally see that he's still got, he's still got the fastball. It's can he get to the fastball enough? But again, a young team there, a team coming together. Rodgers just playing his second game since this January of 2023. So, there's more to come. Just going around the league, the Bills dominate the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. Tua with another scary concussion. He lowers the boom, lowers his head, gets concussed, goes, full just locked up body again. So his third really bad concussion in 3 years now. So not ideal. Not ideal for him. The Vikings pull off maybe the upset of the weekend. They take down the 49ers. The Vikings are 2-0. They should atop the NFC North. This is going to be a little trend this week is the big underdogs pulled off some wins. Underdogs of 6 points or more are 8-0 against the spread this year. 8-0 against the spread, and a few of them won this week. The Vikings won, the Bucks beat the Lions, and the Saints absolutely boat race the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Derek Carr goes off in the first half, throws for 2 touchdowns and ran for another, or 2 touchdowns and ran for another. Just absolute beatdown of the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody's gotten paid for the Cowboys now, and it's time they got to show up. Getting absolutely fucking crushed by the New Orleans Saints is not the way you want, was that their home? Yeah, that was their home opener. Not the way you want your home opener to go. The Saints, a sneaky 2-0 early. What do we make of the Saints? They crushed the Panthers in week 1. I don't know how much to take away from that. The Panthers are pretty bad. We saw that again this week. But the Saints have scored a lot of points, 44 and 47, while only giving up 10 and 19. 10 and 19. So, wowza, 91 to 29 in their 2 games so far. 91-29. How? The Jets and the Commanders play the Slot Bowl, and the Commanders come out with a win. The Panthers just down bad, man. 26-3 loss for them at home against the Chargers. They are going to bench Bryce Young in favor of the Little Red Rider BB gun, Andy Dalton. So Andy Dalton will be playing quarterback for the Panthers for at least the next game. I haven't seen more on that, but wow. Just not well. Just not going well for them, especially when you consider, C.J. Stroud and the kind of feelings people have about him. The 2-0 Texans already have a full 2-game lead on their entire division as the Titans, Jags, and Colts all 0-2 now. So just a real contrast in the 2 situations for those top 2 quarterbacks from just a couple of years ago. The Seahawks get on the board for the win in the win column. They take down the Patriots. The Patriots were trying to get themselves to 2-0, which would have been wild. I think that's a pretty shit team. I think the Buccaneers going into Detroit and picking up a win is really impressive. Let's look at the stat line. I think Baker had another decent, well, not as much. Wow, Jared Goff threw the ball a lot. 55 pass attempts for Jared Goff. Whoops. So shocking, my mic fell over. 55 pass attempts. Golly. 307 yards, two interceptions. Baker was 12 of 18 for 185. TD through the air, a TD on the ground as well, though. Chris Godwin, nice game. 7 receptions, $117. But yeah, the Bucs got in. They got up early. They held on to it, and then they held on late. And the Buccaneers are 2-0, and they stand atop their division early in the season. And, and again, in a division that we didn't think was going to be that good, I think we're going to see that the Falcons and the Panthers, well, we know the Panthers are bad. I think 2 weeks has told us that. We'll learn more about the Falcons tonight, but all of a sudden, there's 2 teams in the NFC South that are 2-0, and it's the Bucs and the Saints. We may have a little bit of a race on our hands. That could be fun. What else? Steelers going to Denver. They're 2-0. I don't know what to think of the Steelers. I mean, they snuck out wins against the Falcons and the Broncos. I don't think either of those teams are very good. We'll see. The Raiders going to Baltimore. I think that was another one of the big underdogs. They get a win in Baltimore. Not the best look for Baltimore either, but hey, again, they say any given Sunday for a reason in the NFL. There are games that are going to be lost and that you don't think you're going to lose. I'll tell you who did not lose this weekend was Mr. Marvin Harrison Jr. goes absolutely ham in the first quarter. I think all 4 receptions. Did he maybe get one more later? He finishes with 4 receptions, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns. After thinking I had drafted a bust for my fantasy team, my man comes back and delivers a little 30-point piece for me as the Arizona Cardinals absolutely dominate the LA Rams, who are already very injured, it feels like. They just don't feel like they're right. I mean, Cooper Kupp now with an ankle injury. He's in a boot. So things just not going the way they want them to go in LA for the Rams. And then the game of the day, probably Bengals-Chiefs. The Chiefs pulling out. I don't think it was that bad of a call at the end of the game for the pass interference. I think it kind of gets a little old seeing the Chiefs get calls that people think are, possibly questionable. Feels like they're getting a little help, but I think it was probably the right call. So the Cincinnati Bengals are 0-2 again. This feels like just their default position to start the year. Joe Burrow had a solid game, 23 of 36, 258, 2 TDs. A couple of times coming down the stretch, it felt like he could have done a little more that he didn't. 2 interceptions for Pat Mahomes, not a great outing for him. I again choose wrong in my Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Who am I going to play at starting quarterback in my fantasy team? 18, 25, 151, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. Isaiah Pacheco, 19 carries, 90 yards, but he is injured. And I believe I saw 6 to 8 weeks for him. Rashee Rice had another good game. But man, this is one I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to feel like they're kicking themselves that they didn't win. They got out, 10-3 early, 16-10 at halftime after a couple field goals. And it was back and forth the whole time, but I don't know. It just felt like the Bengals. I mean, they outgained them. It just feels like this is when they're going to look back and be like, we should have won that. Joe Burrow was 3-1 going into the week against the Chiefs. Played another solid game. It feels like he does kind of have. I don't know if he just gets up for the game or not, but it's a good matchup for him for whatever reason. The Jags now 0-2. If you recall back to when we were talking AFC NFC South preview, MJ was thinking this is a put up or shut up year for Mr. Trevor Lawrence, and so far it is shutting up, not putting up. They only score 13 points, 14 of 30, 220 yards. Only gets the Jags only get it in the end zone one time the whole day. Just not ideal. Just not ideal. I think that's every game. Is there a game I didn't talk about? You just spin through here. 10 games. 10 games in the noon window, or the 1 o'clock window on Red Zone, and the Packers were playing at the same time. I didn't get the full appreciation of the best Red Zone day of the year because I was, focused on the Packers more than I was on Red Zone, which is unfortunate. Oh, Texans-Bears. We didn't mention Texans-Bears. Texans hang on. Caleb Williams still hasn't found his way into the end zone, so maybe he's going to suck. Hopefully he does. Fuck the Bears. Let's just look forward to next week. What do we got? We got Jets, Pats, a couple of 1-1 teams, in an interesting spot, kind of looking for who's going to – is it possible that someone's going to fill that second spot in the AFC East? We don't know how long Tua is going to be out for. We don't know what that team's going to really look like without him. It wasn't good Thursday night without him, I can tell you that. Jets, Pats in New York. Aaron Rodgers, can he kind of really get it rolling now? Patriots have been sneakily better than they're supposed to. And there's a couple of games this week that I don't think people had really penciled in as being, the most appealing games, but have kind of shown themselves that they might be. Eagles at the Saints and Texans at the Vikings. Those are 4 2-0 teams that I didn't really think anybody, walking into the year thought they'd, really be getting. Chargers at the Steelers. Can the Steelers keep winning? The Chargers, I think, are a step up from the teams they've played. Lions, Cardinals in that 3:30 range. That could be a very interesting game. That could really tell us something about both the Lions and the Cardinals and, if they're going to bounce back or not. 49ers, Rams. A couple teams that are beat up a little. I mean, the 49ers much more so than the Rams, but obviously the Rams, I don't think Christian McCaffrey is slated to be back yet. So we will see. Big 5-game 3:30 window, which is nice because that's about when I'm going to be getting back from being out of town. Ravens, Cowboys. Couple teams coming off a loss. One of those teams is going to 1-2, and that's not where either of those teams thought they were going to be to start the year. Then we have Chiefs at the Falcons on Sunday night. And then a couple of Monday nighters. The Jags go to Buffalo. Again, that's a spot for the Jags. 0-3 and making the playoffs are not two things that really go together. Same thing for the Bengals. They're hosting the Commanders. That feels like a winnable game for them. That feels like a game they should win. And again, 0-3, not a thing that you do and make the playoffs in the NFL. It used to be 0-2. I think I'd have to see the stats since 0-2 teams to make the playoffs. Let's see if there's anything. Let's see. Oh, God. Try and see. Over the past 3 seasons since they've expanded to 17 games, 21 teams have opened the season 0-2. Only 2 have eventually made the playoffs. In 2023, 9 teams started 0-2, and the Houston Texans were the only team to make the playoffs. The year prior, 5 teams started 0-2, and only the Cincinnati Bengals have made the playoffs. They end up finishing 12-4. 2021, 7, 0-2. None made the playoffs. In 2020, when the league expanded to the 14-team playoff field, 11 teams started with an 0-2 record. None made the playoffs. So even 0-2, even in the expanded playoffs, is still not good. 0-3 is a death sentence. Those are teams that have to win. The Jags and the Bengals. So interesting Monday night in that effect. and then the 1 and 2 team, that 1 and 2 bowl, we're going to call it, at 3:30 on Sunday. The Ravens and the Cowboys is a very interesting one as well. My Packers, we got the Titans in Tennessee, looking like Malik Willis. Malik Willis revenge game? Come on, Malik. I would prefer they don't start. They don't start Jordan Love there. Just it would seem like it's too much too soon. Maybe if you can get him back for the Vikings, and then it's Rams, Cardinals, Texans, Jags, Lions, Bears, Niners, Dolphins. And a couple of those teams are beat up. The Jags maybe aren't what we thought they were going to be. So, gosh, if you can just get if you can keep them out at least one more week, get another win with Malik Willis, that 2-1 coming out of that first stretch without your starting quarterback for a couple of games, that wouldn't be all bad. I'd be optimistic if you could come back. I mean, Jaden Reed's still looking phenomenal. Dontavian Wicks got into the offense a little bit, so we'll see. Jordan Love wasn't scratched until pretty late on Saturday before they finally decided that he wasn't going to play. So we will see. All right, let's move over to college. College football week 2. No Penn State this weekend, so don't have any thoughts there, obviously. Just kind of spinning around the top 25. LSU and South Carolina played a hell of a football game. That was a fun football game to watch. No real dog in the hunt, so I was just kind of rooting for the underdog. LSU really needed a win. They were 1-1, and they needed a little fourth quarter rally to get themselves home to the victory there. Brian Kelly probably was going to find himself on quite the hot seat had he not pulled off the victory there. Does not tell me the overview of who scored when. Whatever. LSU scored 14 points in the fourth quarter to secure that victory, really down to the wire. Georgia ekes one out in Kentucky. They score the lone touchdown of the game in the fourth quarter with about 12:20 remaining to go up 13-9. Field goal from Kentucky with about 8 minutes remaining, and that was all the scoring there was. Carson Beck only throws for 160 yards. He's supposed to be the dude. He was not the dude. Oh, this damn screen just keeps going black on me. All right. Kansas State massacres Arizona. This is a weekend of a lot of just big wins. Illinois 30-9. Kansas State 31-7. Remember, I said going in, this wasn't a good week. Like, there wasn't a lot of good games. Oklahoma State 45-10 over Tulsa. Arkansas State, I think that's Arkansas State. AR State hung tight with Michigan. Yeah, the Arkansas State Red Wolves. The Arkansas State Red Wolves. They added a couple scores late in that game to make it seem closer than it was. Michigan went up 28-3 early in the fourth, and Arkansas State scored a couple times. A couple times after that to tighten it up just a little bit. Tell you a game that wasn't tight, that was Tennessee and Kent State. Oh, mama. 71-0. It was 65-0 in the first half. You talk about an ass kicking. 37 points in the first quarter, 28 more in the second, a couple of field goals. Let's just listen to the scoring here. Touchdown 11:32 remaining in the first. Safety 10:35 remaining in the first. Touchdown 8:11 remaining in the first. Touchdown 5:56 remaining in the first. Touchdown 3:35 remaining in the first. Touchdown 2 seconds remaining in the first. Touchdown 13:06 remaining in the second. Touchdown 7:49 in the second. Touchdown 3:06 in the second. Touchdown 19 seconds left in the second. They were scoring at will. That's fucking video game shit. That is video game shit. Notre Dame crushes Purdue. Ole Miss crushes Wake Forest. Texas massacres the UTSA Roadrunners. And the big development there is Arch Manning got himself some playing time and was dealing. 9-12 for 223 yards, 4 touchdowns, a hell of a scramble for a touchdown as well. I believe he's playing next week as well. Quinn Ewers, I think, is still hurt. So, all aboard the Arch train, baby. hype train coming up. Bill O'Brien kept it close. Bill O'Brien and the Boston College Eagles, 21-27 in Missouri. They hung around. They got out early. They were up 14-3, and then Missouri just kind of took over at the end of the second quarter, end of the first half. Got up another touchdown in the third, and they just couldn't quite do it. But man, Bill O'Brien's got the Eagles, Boston College Eagles, playing some ball. This coming week, what do we got? We got a nice Friday night game. Illinois and Nebraska. Oh, go back. Colorado beat Colorado State, and they're talking shit out in the field. It's like, holy shit, you guys are the worst. But on to this week. Illinois, Nebraska, Friday night football. We got a nice Friday night game for ourselves there. Number 24 ranked Illinois. I said earlier this year, I was like, I think Illinois is supposed to be decent. So Illinois going to Nebraska. It's supposed to be the nicest fans in the world, Nebraska fans. UCLA heads to LSU, but I think UCLA stinks. The mighty Kent State will travel to Happy Valley after a 71-0 ass-kicking. They're looking for a bounce-back game. They're heading to Penn State to get it. Penn State falls to number 10 in the rankings after being inactive this week. Texas up to number 1. Buoyed by Arch Manning in the AP Top 25. We go Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Missouri, Miami, Oregon, Penn State. So SEC, Big Ten, SEC, ACC, Big Ten. Top 11. Big Ten and SEC heavy, as we all expected this year. Miami, Ohio, and Notre Dame. Ooh, there's the game of the week right there. Utah heads to Oklahoma State. I'm a man. I'm 40. Well, USC, Michigan, too. Both those games on almost identical to each other. 2:30 and then 3 o'clock. Actually, that might be the game of the week right there. There's some nice games this week. 3 nice games. Tennessee at Oklahoma. I would imagine that's where game day's going. Texas with another tough one. LA, Monroe. Good place for Arch Manning to get his first couple starts. Really good place. So Penn State, let's talk about my Penn State Nittany Lions. We got Kent State this week, and then it's really kind of on for them. They get the game against Kent State, and then like I said, it's on. It's Penn State, Illinois. It's Penn State, UCLA. Again, I think UCLA stinks. Then Penn State, USC. Penn State at USC, at Wisconsin, back home to host Ohio State, and then they host Washington right after that. I don't know Washington. Washington just lose this week. Yes, Washington State. Washington State takes down Washington in Washington. Leave the Pac-12, but you can't escape the Cougars. The Cougars are coming for you. Okay. I think I'm good. I think I'm good on college football. Yeah, fun. There's a pretty fun week coming up. Let me see if I can. Can I change this? I see other games, not just top 25. Who knows? Do I really care if they're not in the top 25? There's probably a couple games out. Who's Colorado playing? Who are they going to talk shit about? Fucking Mr. Baylor. Baylor's terrible anymore, aren't they? They kicked the shit out of Tarleton State. That's all I know. Lost to Utah. Beat the shit out of Air Force. Who knows? I just like Colorado. Man, they really don't have that tough a schedule right at the start. They got Kansas State coming in a couple weeks. Well, all right, let's keep moving on. Cleveland Guardians mostly do their jobs this past week. Finally, they sweep the White Sox 5-3, 5-0, 6-4, and then they split with the Tampa Bay Rays. After dropping the first 2 in the series, they come back and win the 2 weekend games, Saturday, Sunday. I didn't watch much on Saturday or Sunday of either of those. I watched nothing on Sunday. I was watching football, obviously. But I did take away a couple things from some of the games earlier in the week. Gavin Williams on Thursday got crushed in the first inning again. And that's been like a reoccurring theme this whole year. I think they said his ERA in the first inning was somewhere north of 5. Or maybe he's like giving up more than 3 or 4 runs like on some absurd number of occasions. Either way, it's a thing that's like kind of happened. He did kind of settle in for the rest of the game. Wait a second. Now I'm looking at this and saying Thursday they didn't give up a run in the first. That can't be right. Am I wrong? What was happening? Was he? Oh, there he did give up a run. It was about to. That's right. It was about to get bad, and I must have wrote that before they pulled it out. But that can't be a thing that happens in the playoffs. Obviously, need him to be better. And then Friday, I was watching. Andrew Walters came in for an inning. Some very impressive stuff out of that guy. I believe he's a rookie. He pitched one inning, had a strikeout. They were talking about this fastball he throws. It almost, if you're a batter, it looks like it rises because it just kind of hangs. It never really drops. It really confuses people, I guess. But he was impressive. Got 6 innings out of Bybee that day. He only gave up 3 earned. But just no run support for him on that Friday. But they came home. They bring it home on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. They pick up a couple of wins. So 5-2 record. They're in a good spot in the division. They're 4 games up on the Royals, 6.5 on the Twins. There are 12 games remaining. Hard to blow that lead with 12 games, but it's not impossible. They really got to lock in. Magic number for them to make the playoffs, it's 3, so 3 wins. Or I think it could be 3 losses by Detroit, Kansas City. Let me see here. Oh, fuck you. That one's the worst. Oh, hang on. There's some Cooper Cup news. I'll toss that in here if I can find it again. Oh, God. Come on. Cooper Cup could be placed on the IR in this extended time. So, a little football in the baseball. Okay. Magic number, Cleveland. What's the Wild? So, it'd be the Twins, the Tigers. I don't know. I can't figure out who the thing is. I know with the top 2 seed, the magic number is 9. And the team to watch there is the Houston Astros. They're the other team that could possibly take that. They are 81-68. So 9. And magic number, again, any combination of wins and losses of the respective team that it matters with. So for the top 2 seed, it is 9. 9 wins or 9 wins and losses from the Astros. And Cleveland will lock in that first round bye and host the one of the wild card winners. Just a game back of the Yankees for best record in the AL. I think the NL, I think the Phillies are kind of out of reach. They're 90-59, so 4.5 games back of them. That's probably not going to happen unless they just absolutely collapse coming home. But just one game back of the Yankees. Who do the Yankees have? At the Mariners, at the Athletics, then they play the Orioles and the Pirates. So not the toughest stretch for the Yankees coming down the stretch. I don't think the Mariners aren't terrible. I mean, the Athletics suck. I mean, they do got to play the Orioles, and then the Pirates really aren't much of anything either. Cleveland this week, 4-game set going right now with the Minnesota Twins. Then head to St. Louis to close the week, and then start the next week. They host the Reds for a little 2-game set, and then the Astros right down the stretch. So that final playoff, that final series against the Astros could really determine whether or not this team is going to get a first round bye in the playoffs and be a top 2 seed. Would much rather have, I think, the top 2 seed. I know some people say it's maybe not the greatest to have your team, but I'm hard pressed that you don't get to rest your pitchers and have them come in and have the rotation set up the way you want it when another team may be coming off a playoff series that they've had to deal with. So I'm down with that. So 4-game set with the Twins. First of all, just clinch your playoff. 3 wins and you're in, and then see if you can get that top 2 seed. I think it'd be beneficial in the long run. So yeah, let's go Guards. Let's bring this thing home. Let's get to the playoffs and let's make some noise. Come on. Time for some passing thoughts. R.I.P. to the great James Earl Jones. He passed away this past week. Just what a resume this guy's got. Darth Vader, I mean, famously brought in behind the back of the guy who actually was in the suit for Darth Vader and recorded his lines, in post-production, I guess would be the thing. So voices Darth Vader. He's in Conan the Barbarian, Field of Dreams, Coming to America, one of my favorite movies. He plays James Greer in The Hunt for Red October, and then reprises that role in a couple of the other Tom Clancy movies, Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger. He's in The Sandlot. I mean, you can just go through. I mean, that's just the top line. I mean, you start sliding through his resume. I mean, Exorcist 2 is another one on there. Coming to America, Field of Dreams, Three Fugitives, Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games, Sneakers, The Sandlot. He's in Naked, does a little cameo in Naked Gun, 33 1/3. The Lion King, he's Mufasa in The Lion King. I mean, just unreal stuff. The Sandlot 2, he was in The Sandlot 2. Okay, I didn't know there was a Sandlot 2. And she reprised his role. This is the narrator of Scary Movie 4. Okay, that's great. That's awesome. And then I believe he had a quite the stage career as well. So one of the best, James Earl Jones, one of the greatest voices to ever grace anyone's ears in the world of film, TV, theater, whatever you want to call it. So RIP to the great James Earl Jones. I'm sure I've said this before on the pod, but it just hit me again. Roommate was shredding up some cheese for some dish, and I just why does shredded cheese taste better? Like, what is it? Why is shredded cheese like a better taste? I just really don't know, but it is. It is. Also, I was out on the road for work today, and I needed to get some food quick because I needed to be somewhere. It was kind of a last minute thing that happened. I need to be somewhere quick. And the online ordering for like all these different to-go restaurants is fucking so nice. I just ordered a sub. I was out in kind of the middle of nowhere, so Subway was really one of the only options. Ordered a sub from Subway. Literally walk in, pick it up, walk out. Like, I'm in and out of there. I'm right back in the car. I'm on the move. That shit is so nice. Absolutely so nice. What else we got? They tried to shoot at Trump again. I mean, that didn't work. This guy, Jesus, that's 2 in like 2 months. Like, we gotta chill. So let's do Solheim Cup. I didn't know what I want. I didn't watch a lot of this. I really only watched some on Sunday before the football game started, and then I flipped it back on because I got a text from Deep Dish that they were trying to blow it. So they entered with a 10-6 lead. Nelly Quarter got absolutely demolished by that Charlie Hull. Charlie Hull was 7 under through 14 holes. So sometimes that's just the way it goes. You run into the buzzsaw, and if you're not playing that great, the buzzsaw fucking takes you out early in match play golf. Also, like to point out that match play is match play. That's agreed upon. Match play is match play. But yeah, my big kind of takeaway here is that I looked on Saturday just to see kind of what the scores were. And the U.S. went up 10-6, obviously, so a pretty insurmountable lead. It only has happened a couple of times. But they had a chance to, 10.5, 5.5, 11-5, and they didn't get there. And one of the reasons was that Lexi Thompson's match, she was up 2 early, and then lost the match. And I sent a text to a couple of my buddies, and I was like, hey, water is, in fact, still wet. Lexi just choking shit away. Then, on Sunday, she's in a spot to legitimately clinch the cup with her match. She's 3 up through 11. And I guess, 10 to, 16 is, the easy part of the golf course. Makes no birdies. Hits some really interesting shots. And not only does she not win her match, she does not tie her match. She loses her match 1 up in the spot to clinch the cup after being 3 up through 11. 3 up with 8 holes to play. She lost 4 of the next 8 holes. Good riddance. Ay, caramba. Went to a couple breweries that allowed dogs over the weekend. it's so nice just to take my dog. And the fucking real benefit is my fucking dog is exhausted. Boomer is out when we get back. He is like just the sensory overload of being out at a brewery with people, and then people come over. This one couple brought over their little baby, and like, it's okay if he says hi. Boomer loves kids. Like, Boomer's like the biggest problem with Boomer in his life is he's too friendly, and he's a little bit of a flight risk. He's a lot of bit of a flight risk, but he's just way too friendly. Like, that's his big problem, is that he will go say hi to anybody, and he can be like kind of a jumper. So like, you got to like be like, dial it in, dickhead. That's it. If there's a thing to like worry about a dog is that he's too friendly and he jumps a little bit, I'll take that. Like, I missed on jumping, training that out, but either way, like, it's so awesome. You go out, you get some drinks, and you come back. Fucking dog's like, I'm going to bed. See you fuckers tomorrow. And then he's fucking drained the next day. Poor guy just goes so fucking hard in the paint. But I love fucking breweries where you can take your dog. Then you can like fucking brewery hop around. You don't gotta worry about getting back. It's the best. It's the best. I saw an old "Don't Try That at Home" video from WWE, and it was great. It was just like, you know, it was the one from the Attitude Era. It's just going through everybody who's had broken bones, you know, torn tendons, torn muscles, and they're like, don't try this at home. And the exact thing that me and all my friends did was immediately try it at home. We immediately tried it at home. Then we, you know, got to a point where we had our little wrestling promotion ourselves. Shout out DMCW. But it was so funny. It's just like, yeah, I know exactly what we did the second that video was over. We fucking said, fuck that. We're going for it. We're trying it at home. It was great. It was great. I am late to this party, no doubt, but I discovered Kill Tony over the weekend or end of last week. I was just on YouTube, and it popped up like Kill Tony live in Madison Square Garden. And I've always seen people talk about like Kill Tony, like watching the Rogan podcast, you know, stuff with Shane Gillis, any other comedians that I've watched. And they're always like, yeah, Kill Tony, it's so awesome. I'd never seen it at all. This shit's fucking incredible. Just unbelievable. Like, they just trot these people up there, and half the time these guys suck ass, and they're just bombing their faces off. And then, you know, the one in Madison Square Garden, they're bringing out like actual comedians with it. He's got his regulars. My favorite discovery out of this all, I think, was the Estonian assassin Ari Matti. That guy, fucking one of my new favorite comedians. His fucking show is incredible. And then, so they're doing the 2 nights in Madison Square Garden. They just released night 2, either yesterday or today. Yesterday, I think. Had it playing in the car. And I had to like stop it and wait till I was like stopped to watch a part. He brought Aaron Rodgers out at the end to like throw footballs into the crowd. And Rodgers is just fucking launching balls. So, like, he's throwing a couple like out early, but then you can see him like start like lining up like people up in the upper decks. And Rodgers is just on stage fucking launching balls up into the fucking upper decks in Madison Square Garden. Incredible. But yeah, Kill Tony. I'm in. I think they do that every Monday night. When does Kill Tony? I probably should look. I might have to be watching this thing. When's the Kill Tony release schedule? September 16th. That is, in fact, today. Tom Segura will be on there. So, yeah, I'm all in on Kill Tony. This is like my new thing. I'm in on it. So this was actually filmed on September 2nd. Got it. But yeah, totally late to that party, but I'm a believer now. So let me see. Is there anything else? Oh, I had a couple of pictures here. I saw this today. I am this old. Those old fucking things, and God, everybody had one. Absolutely everybody had one. There was this one. Oh, to be watching. Oh, what does it say? Oh, to be eating ribs and watching football in the clubhouse of a 1990s Damon's Grill. Awesome. Just awesome. There was a Damon's Grill not too far away from where I lived, and we would go to it every once in a while. It was like the first big sports bar thing. Like, just the fact that there were all those TVs were just mind-blowing. And like, coming from small town Pennsylvania where there was nothing like that, it was mind-boggling. Just absolutely mind-boggling. I don't think, are any of them still open? I would assume not. That one I know is not. Damon's Grill. Damon's Grill back from the break, I'm hearing. Let's see. Let's see if this thing loads at all. All right. Okay. I don't. Restaurant has. Oh, that was in 2007. I doubt it then. I doubt it. If it was coming back, there's one in Myrtle Beach. Apparently, there's one in Iowa. Still one in Pennsylvania. I wonder if those are the actual ones. Here we go. This is an actual website. Damon's Grill. Let's see. About. Is there like a locations? How do I find? There's one in Hazel. That's a Hazleton, Pennsylvania. They were like the originators of like the TVs everywhere. Maybe they weren't the originators. Maybe some other place would do it. But it was like the first time I ever saw it. Oh, that's Damon's Hazleton. Can I just get like a? No, I don't want just the Hazleton. Ribs though. Ribs were their thing. I remember. Ribs were their thing. And then speaking of ribs and food, Pat McAfee fed Nick Saban a tomahawk steak holding the bone. That was pretty incredible on game day. And then this was another one. Hey, person I met at a party for 30 seconds in 2009. Let's remain lifelong friends on Facebook. That happened a lot back in the day. Going to college in the fall of 2009, you accumulated a lot of friends on Facebook just because like you were in a picture album with them. And like someone else got tagged and somebody would like friend request. And for a long time, those people remained on my friends list. I've went through a couple of like Facebook purges in my life where I've been like, I don't even know who this is. And I've like deleted them off. But yeah, that was a thing. That was definitely a thing. All right, let's go wrap this thing up. I think that's all for this week. Losing time, everybody. Just want to say thank you. As always, I appreciate the support. So thank you. Just realized I didn't even talk about UFC this week. I didn't really watch it. The Sphere looked cool, but the card didn't really do it for me. I guess the co-main was a sleeper, and then Churshan lost as well. So don't think I missed out that much. Arena looked cool for the couple matches I watched before it went to pay-per-view. We'll be back next week. We got more football. We got more baseball. Closing stretch. We're almost to the playoffs. Might have to reach out to Ethan Sexton. See if he can take time out of his touring schedule to come talk to us. We'll have to get in touch with him, see what's going on. College football, Big Kent State game we're going to have to break down. See if I don't think we'll put up 71, but shouldn't be too much of an issue. So thank you again, everybody. I appreciate the watch. I appreciate the listens. Thank you, as always, to producer Kevy for getting us started on the video portion here. So until next week, peace!